Well, guess what? It's 2021. You can see I did miss last week's video. I apologize if anybody was waiting for that. I've been dealing with this cyano outbreak. I do want to just kind of give you a little information on it here, what I'm doing on it, where I'm going with it. If anything's happening, I'm gonna show a little video of the tank right after this, and then I'm also going to show after that my water perimeters, just to give you guys an idea where things are, where I'm at on the tank. So right now, the cyano has decreased considerable. The apstasia is, what do I want to say? Probably 3/4 gone. The shrimp, definitely get shrimp, peppermint shrimp, they work. There's no joke about that. I put, what did I put in the last? 6 of them, 6 shrimp in there. There still are a few apstasia in there. Obviously my tank was just like, boom, everywhere. Right now though, when you see the video, you'll see that apstasia is less than half. It's well on its way to being back under control. So the shrimp, definitely the route I would go. I would take the shrimp, peppermint shrimp. They seem to be doing the job. You know, I was thinking about a apstasia eating filefish. I don't know that I'm going to need to do that, which is good because I still have that whole hope for the Bengal cardinal thing. However, with the cyano, I took a different method. I've done a lot of research on it. I've done a lot of reading, a lot of videos, a lot of just looking at the bacteria itself in general. One thing that I was going to do is I was going to use some Dr. Tim's Waste Away. The reason I didn't, though, I have it right here. The reason I didn't is because I was thinking, well, I'm going to be kind of becoming reliant on that. It's not what I want to do. So I wanted to find an actual way of doing this. So like I said, I'm going to show my tank first so you guys can see where things are at, where it's progressed from the last video. I think you'll see a bit of an improvement. Definitely not perfect. It's only been, what, 2 weeks? So obviously, if any of you that have battled with cyano know that it's not an overnight fix. However, you will definitely see an improvement. And what I did was I used the theory that I come across of phosphates and nitrates. Meaning, if your phosphates are high and your nitrates are 0, you need a certain percentage of nitrates to process the phosphates, or the phosphates will go up. I'm not a biologist. I don't know the exact deal. I know the equation that I was reading about said it's a 16:1. However, as you can see in the testing, if you watch to the end of the video, my nitrates, they're non-existent. My phosphates, however, have went up a little. They're not crazy. You'll see in the video that it's definitely not even something that you would normally worry about. However, without any nitrates, it's allowing the cyanobacteria to flourish. And the reason I believe this is because the first thing I did is I immediately started overfeeding the tank, and I'm actually going to probably order some nitrates to put in the tank. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to keep overfeeding, but you can see overfeeding the tank here, increasing my nitrates, has already helped on the cyanobacteria considerably. One thing I didn't do is, as you can see on that last video, I know you have the last video there. If you go reference back to that, you can see where at the end of the video, I kind of cleaned things up. I kind of vacuumed off all the red. Shows you a picture of that. I haven't done anything with the tank since. I didn't even do a water change this week, which is the first time since I've got the tank. The reason is I'm trying to raise the nitrates in my tank. I know that seems crazy. But so far it has been helping, because with this whole 16:1 ratio that I've been reading about, by raising my nitrates is allowing my phosphates to go down, which is allowing to stabilize my tank. Now, once again, I'm not a biologist. I don't know how this all works. I don't know the whole scientific method behind it. All I can do is show you the results that I get. You can take it for what it's worth. If it's something you think you believe in or something you don't believe in, hey, you know. By the way, I do want to thank each and every one of you that commented on my video. I want to thank each and every one of you that gave me an idea of what to do in my tank. I didn't take it personal. I didn't take it like you were taking an attack at me. If you were, hey, you were. If you weren't, you weren't. That's not a problem. I'm open to anything that you guys can give me because I'm trying to learn on this hobby. Anyways, those comments helped me because I used some of them when I did different searches and when I did different articles I looked up to come across this method. So, anyways, without any further discussion, let's just get into it. I'll give you a shot of the tank. At the end of the shot of the tank, I'll show you where my water parameters were. We'll go from there. We'll see, you know, give me some comments, give me some feedback. Tell me if you think I'm doing the right thing. Tell me if I'm doing something completely freaking crazy. I want to hear it. Let's go. Well, as you guys can see, there's still some cyanobacteria in here. The amount on the rock is considerable less. I think things are going in the right direction. I don't know, well, time will tell. Just kind of giving you guys a quick run over here, looking at the, you can see in the back here, through the hole. Got some cyanobacteria back there. I don't know if you can compare the pictures on the first one. It is better. Here was a rock that was completely covered. It's only partially covered now. You can still see that I got one of them fancy anemones sticking his head out there. The shrimp haven't got that one yet, but I will tell you, those shrimp are pretty effective. You look around, I got one right here. I put 6 of them bad boys in there, and they have been doing their work. If you look up here, you can see that some of the hair algae is less. It's not as much. It's not gone, but you can see that it's less. Now, I want you to take note here. I didn't go in here and do anything to this. This is all part of the whole, my plan with the phosphate nitrate leveling. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm not saying it's not going to work. Here's that corner that was so bad. You can see it's still up on the glass there. Not as much, obviously. There's some white growing here, showing here. There's some still, obviously, on the back of this rock. If you look back here, you can see a big chunk coming loose, waving back there. Still got some here. My plan is to try and let things play out. We'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to play out or not, but it is already looking better. One thing you're going to see coming in a recent video here is this guy right here. He's way too powerful for this tank. Take a look at that water up here. See how there's a whole, you know, it is a wave maker, but it's ridiculous. The fish, the corals, I can't get it any lower. It's way too big for this tank. It needs to be taken down, and so I'm going to be ordering some power heads. I'm going to get rid of it out of this tank anyways. It's not that it's a bad pump. It's been working damn good, as you can see, but it's too much for this tank. I got way too big of a one. You can see there's still red mixed in here in the cracks. This is kind of at night here, so it's not, I turned the lights on a little bit so I could show this red to you. It's not gone. Here's, if you remember that picture I had back there where it showed all them apstasia, you can still see there's a couple back there, but there's a whole lot less. And if you look around on these rocks, all them little tiny ones that were sticking out all over, they're gone. When it comes to the apstasia, the shrimp are doing their job. They really are. Can't say anything enough good about them. Okay, so here we have the HANA salinity and temperature checker.
Longer than it has to be. I just
you can see that
a quick picture of what's going on.
It takes a little bit to get set up here, but once it is, I'm just putting in the water. Take note that this water's been out of my tank for a bit here now. It's not too far off, but the temperature is a little bit cooler than what my tank is actually running. I just wanted to mention that here because I know that it shows a little bit cooler than maybe it should be. But 1.025 is where the salinity is on it right now. I do try to keep it between 1.025 and 1.026. Here we have the phosphate tester by HANA. You can see here the countdown's coming up. The phosphates are going to be at 0. Well, hold on one second. There it is. 0.17. Not much higher, but a little bit higher than where I generally like to keep it. And that has been going up a little bit here, and I think part of that is because of the situation I have with the cyanobacteria and the nitrates. Now we're going to just show you here the Saltwater Master Kit. Some of these tests in here, typically you only do when you're cycling the tank, but you know what? Being I have the test kit, I just go right on through it. This one is the HANA calcium checker. I probably am not going to use this one just because it's kind of a pain in the butt. I do kind of prefer the API to this. But let's get into the API. So here's the nitrate. It's going to show you here pretty well, definitely no question about it. That one's at 0. I know the colors are a little bit different, but now we're going to move into the nitrate. Once again, this one here, I'm pretty sure you're going to look at it and say no question about it. That one's also at 0, which I think is part of my problem. I think that I need to raise that a little bit. You know, typically people are trying to get that down to 0, but I do keep a pretty clean tank here, and I think that's, surprisingly enough, causing my problem. Now here's the ammonia. I just threw this one in here because it's part of the test kit. That one's also at 0. Definitely no question about that one as well. I'm kind of doing this to give you guys an idea where my tank's at. I know you got some of you guys like to comment, give me some helpful hints, you know, and I'm hoping that when you see these readings, maybe the hints you have will help me. You know, definitely whatever you got to say it. Here I'm going to say that we're looking at about 8.2 to 8.0 for the pH. I know that that's a little off here when you see the light going through it, but when you actually have the test out, it pretty well easy to see. It's a little camera throws it off a little bit. Now here we're going to move on to the API calcium. Once again, I do kind of prefer this one to the HANA. The only reason I do is because it's really simple, basically. The HANA, there's a lot of grief involved with it. The HANA might be more accurate, but I just feel like that there's a lot of effort involved to using it. Here we got 23 drops, which is going to be 460 for the calcium. Definitely a good enough number here not to cause any problems like I'm showing. Just kind of a picture here showing you the test kit that I used. Now we're going to move into HANA, the alkalinity. Once again, the phosphate and the alkalinity test by Hannah, they are a must-have. You can see the alkalinity here is good, 8.2. The tests for doing phosphate and for alkalinity on Hannah, they're really easy. They're hard to beat because they're simple, quick, and easy, and they show an accurate reading. Right now, we're just going to get into the Salifert iodine. The reason I'm doing this one here, I do dose iodine on this tank regular, just for the simple fact that I can't seem to keep iodine in the tank. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I have been basing it off this test kit. Let's hope this test kit is accurate. You know, I've heard good things about the Salifert test kit, but as you can see going through here, I do have a Brightwell iodine that I do dose. Typically 2 drops per 30 gallons is all you need, but I've been doing actually 3 drops per 30 gallons, trying to raise it. As you'll see here on this test here, even with me dosing the tank with the iodine, it don't seem to make enough of an effort or enough of a, how do I want to say it, enough of a difference to even show on the test kit. As you'll see coming up here on this test kit here, I'm just kind of showing here the process. Now it's basically it's setting. You have to let it sit for 4 minutes before you actually read the test. Once it sets for 4 minutes, then you just look through it's a very small amount of water, and you look through it through the side, through the, I guess, the deepest part of the water. You'll see here coming in the test part of it. Once you do, you try to compare it to the color. And it gives you a chart to compare it to the iodate and the iodine. Regardless of what I do on it, it does seem to just stay clear. I even questioned it here, so I tested it on tap water, and I know tap water and salt water are different, but you know, the colors do actually change when you use tap water. So, but if you look here, take a look, it's clear. It doesn't even register 0.03 there. You can definitely see the colors coming through. And then on the other side here as well, there's actually no yellow tint whatsoever. So you can see all the colors come through this test. Basically, it's just like I'm pouring clear water in the test kit. So I just continue to add in hopes to
Okay, so there you have it. You've seen the tank, what it looks like now. You've seen that I'm overfeeding to try and raise my nitrates. I know people are usually trying to lower their nitrates. I know it seems crazy. When I first read the article, I was like, this is not going to work. But you know what? It's the route I wanted to try, so I did. So far, it's working. I'll keep you guys up to date going forward. As always, like, subscribe, comment. Check you out next time.